This is the question that I got, which was, a family's dining room is 5 foot by 4 foot. They want to increase its size by ironing a strip of the floor the same width to both sides as shown below in blue. If they want the new area of the dining room to be 40 feet squared, how wide should the strip be? Round to 2 decimal places. So to start off, if you look at the diagram, we know that the width of this, which was given, is 4 feet for the dining room and 5 feet for the length of the dining room. And we know that since they're opposites, it's going to be the same, so that's also 5 feet, and then that's 4 feet. And if we look over here, if we need to find the strip, basically, in order to find what this distance is, we know that this is 5 feet, so we just put 5, and then we just put plus x, because that's what this little distance is. And then same for over here, we know that this is 4, and then we just, right here, we have x, so we just add x to that in order to find what the value of x is after we isolate it. So I just let x equal the width of the strip, and then I used the area formula because that's what it gave us the area in the question. And obviously the area formula is area equals length times width. And I just rearranged that because I'm used to factored form, so I just put length times width equals area. And then I plugged in what we know. So we know that the length in this situation is 5 plus x. And then here we have the width. We know that the width is 4 plus x, which is equal total area, which is 40. And then we have to use FOIL to isolate what x is. So to FOIL, you just do the first terms and you multiply them. So I did 5 times 4, which equals 20, and then I did 4 times x, which is equal to 4x, and then I did 5 times x, which is equal to 5x, and then x times x, which is equal to x squared. And after I used FOIL to do this, I collected my like terms. So we have 20 plus 4x plus 5x, because they're like, you can collect them, which is equal to 9x, and then we just have x squared, and then equals 40. And we need to bring this 40 over to the other side of the equal sign because we need this equation to equal 0. And in order to do that, you just bring it over, and when you bring it over, you do the opposite. So you subtract, so I subtracted 40. And after I did that, I just collected like terms, and I also put it into the formula that I'm used to, which is standard form. And for standard form, the new equation is x squared plus 9x minus 20 is equal to 0, because I did 9x and then I did 20 minus 40, which is equal to negative 20, and then 9x in the middle. And then you need to solve for x, and you can do that in multiple ways. You can complete the square, you can factor it, you can use the quadratic formula. And you couldn't factor it because I tried to do that and it didn't work because I couldn't find any values that multiplied to negative 20 and added to 9. And I know that it's going to be a decimal because it says round to 2 decimal places in the question. So I used the quadratic formula. And the quadratic formula is y equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. So I just labeled a, b, and c, and I just plugged that into the equation. So we have negative b, so negative 9, plus or minus the square root of b, which is 9 squared, minus 4, and then a, which we know as to be 1, and then multiplied by c, which is negative 20, all over 2a, which is 1. And after I did that, I got negative 9 plus or minus the square root of 161 after I did my math work for that, divided by 2. And then you get, after that, you have to do plus or minus. So the plus is -9 plus the square root of 161 divided by 2. And since I had to round to 2 decimal places, I got x equals 1.84. And same for over here, we have x equals -9 minus the square root of 161 divided by 2. And I got x equals -21.68. And we can't use this one because it's a negative, and in this question, we don't need a negative, we need a positive. It's not like we're doing something underground. You can't have a negative of a width or a negative of a feet. So in this case, we just did the positive, so 1.84. And that equals x. So we know that this is 1.84. We know that this is 1.84, this is 1.84, this is 1.84. And you can check it to see if you did it right. So what I just did is I grabbed this formula, which is 5 plus x times 4 plus x equals 40. And I just plugged that in because we already know what x is. So I just put 5 plus 1.84 times 4 plus 1.84 equals 40. And we're not going to get exactly 40 when we do this, and you might think that you did it wrong, but you didn't. It's just because the decimal that I rounded to was really long, and when I rounded to it, I made it shorter, so it's not exactly going to be 40. After I multiplied 6.84 times 5.84, I got 39.94, which is like basically 40 if you round up. So that means that the width of the strip is 1.84 feet. And we know that this is in feet because the question's in feet. And yeah, so x is 1.84 feet.